So I had a company, Augmented Pixels. I sold it to Qualcomm. Now I run two companies, one company in autonomy navigation and second company kind of AI for negotiations. Actually, the topic was slightly different when we announced my talk like a week ago. But during some research, I decided to change it like totally and to speak today about like how to be engineer in defense, what you can expect, what kind of culture, how to make money, etc. And this is because I back to my I was registered at DOE like in 2009. So it's all like 16 years, not 10, not 6, like 16 years on DOE. It's terrible. I had a previously different talk about like motivation, salaries, stock options become like very popular. So I decided this time, using my experience moving like from civil tech to defense, to speak about like what you can expect in defense, mil tech, etc. And I will take 20 minutes, so maybe we'll have some time to questions. I don't know, like I'm not moderating this panel, but feel free to speak with me. So I will try to give you ideas or like provide you some information so you'll understand, for example, in which countries better to work in defense, what type of companies better to choose, what kind of problems you can expect, like switching from like your civil experience to defense. Let's start from kind of general framework or general information, and after that I will jump into like specific details. So I believe everybody here like following news on what's happening in Ukraine and technology, like new technology trends, which are AI, robotics, affected defense industry. And probably there are three main trends. First, it's United States recently published its security strategy, which kind of changed the game for many countries. And it's clear from this document what United States will invest a lot into AI, into robotics, but focusing on like India-Pacific region. Second, United States will not anymore like spend a lot of money supporting European Union. So European Union will like needed to invest much more money into defense security comparing to like previous budgets. And number three, kind of like if you follow China kind of investing a lot, and of course Russia investing a lot in defense. So these three trends create like long-term demand for new technologies, and it's not like 10 billions, it's like 100 billions of dollars in European Union and United States, which will be flooded into defense. And this creates definitely demand for engineers. And I believe many people in this auditory like at least concerned about like AI could replace them. I believe like defense is a kind of good spot to be because it's like long-term projects and you can be in very interesting area for a long time. So I will just, my goals for this talk, just give you kind of general information so you will be able to estimate or understand it's worth for you to move to this field, because there are advantages, there are disadvantages working in defense, working in military. And I just want to warn you. So first of all, like what you need to acknowledge, what in defense or security, there are one main problem. It's a government. It's a one customer. So it's a problem of one customer. So you have usually like in Poland, in United States, it's usually just one customer who is actually paying money to other companies. That is why if you look on the market, you will see what usually it's like you have 20 big companies which take like 80% of the budgets, and the rest like 20% are small companies who like continuously struggle. So if you're planning to work in defense, probably the best place to work actually is these companies which are called primes. And it's just because government usually like to work with just specific set of companies. They don't like to work with small companies. They don't have interface to work with small companies. So probably if you decide to switch, better to choose big companies and maybe like deep tech startups. Other companies, like from my perspective, not very attractive as an employee. Second, it's a culture. I'm kind of spent most of my life working in a startups or in like IT companies, and in my companies we have like culture very close to Silicon Valley. So like I don't know, agile processes, and etc. etc. If you will join defense companies, you will face like totally different culture. Again, I'm not talking about startups, like new startups. I'm talking about like companies who on the market like 25 years, like 100 years. So expect what they're focusing more on kind of deliverables, not on products itself, which is strange, but it's true. Second, it's when we're talking about product planning, it's usually, unfortunately, waterfall in most of our projects, because these projects are long-term and culture of people like slightly different than in a startups. And you can expect a lot of security checks, a lot of formalities, etc. But it's just because of specific defense security. Next point, what I want to discuss is location, because here probably most of our people came from Ukraine. They based in European Union, and when you're choosing the company which you want to join, I'm talking about security or defense. It's very important to understand what all these countries have own specific. So, for example, if you're talking about the United States, you need to have, you cannot be like refugees there and work for defense. You need to have like proper visa or citizenship. In some cases, you must born in United States. So, unfortunately, for a lot of immigrants, some jobs not available at all. Like you cannot work in specific areas. Of course, in the United States, you can expect much higher salary. So if you have, for example, green card, you have O1 visa or H1B, such salaries are high comparing to European Union, even compared to like normal IT companies in the United States. But again, you will face some limitations related to ITAR. You probably, if you will work for some specific project, you will be limited to travel. Like you cannot just take your bag and fly to Bali, for example, or fly to Turkey, whatever. So you have to comply some rules. When we're talking about European Union, from my perspective, like clearance much easier than the United States because there are many countries. But the main problem is what neither of countries in European Union has enough budgets. So that is why if, for example, you work for whatever, like in Germany, you lost your job, you need to kind of move to Italy, you need to comply with the local law, go through the security checks, etc. So it's like, it will require much more time to you, like to switch between countries, between employees, etc. So it's like European Union is kind of, in this case, disruption. And when we're talking about Ukraine, for now, of course, it's like the most popular place to develop like technologies in defense. But let's say once the war will be stopped, by like, I mean, in any case, it will be stopped. I believe like it will be much less budgets for Ukrainian companies. So these companies need to move or to European Union or to the United States to continue selling products. So that is why if you in Ukraine, you need to prepare what probably you need to move to European Union or United States to follow your company. Otherwise, like from Ukraine, from my perspective, it will be hard to sell or develop products in security and defense. Next, I want to talk about like general perception. At least my stereotype is, you know, if somebody work for defense or security, it's kind of shadow person. And it's usually like if you're switching from like civilian projects to defense and then going back from defense to civilian projects, then people from like normal project look on you like with some, like there's a little bit concerns. And I believe some people like think 10 times when they have opportunity to move to defense, and they decided not to go to defense just because of this, just because of perception, reputation, etc. But what actually happening now, I can talk about United States, I can talk about European Union. The government actually starting to motivate new companies to kind of get more projects in defense. And for example, in Silicon Valley, like 10 years ago, it was a lot of critics if you work for defense. Now it's okay if you're working for defense. So probably perception is changing, but it's still kind of a little bit, kind of people like from civilian project will look on you with kind of some concerns. And of course, if you, for example, work long enough in defense, you will have like different. Now I cannot see anything and just smoke around me. So I'm like in a ежик в тумане. So that is why kind of defense sector or security have some strange reputation. It's hard to attract best talents, but perception is changing, reputation is changing. And for example, you can look on the United States. There are several like very sexy companies like Palantir, Adrill, like where people like love to work for them. Next topic, what I want to cover is actually entrepreneurs in defense or founders in defense. So in this field, it's very important. Let's say you want to, I don't know, somebody offering you to start a project and you want to work for some person, develop together some drone or I don't know, some technology. So usually you need to, like, if I will be on your position, I will do background check of this person, understand this person's reputation, because I faced like several cases when people develop like some cool project for like 10 months, 12 months, and then they just cannot sell this product in European Union and United States just because they cannot pass compliance, because they found something wrong with the founder. It's a shadow money, it's some relation with politics, etc. So if you really want to work in defense, double check who are founders, who are investors, who is the CEO. Otherwise, they can, again, waste your time. You will spend like 1 year again in development, and in the end, they will close the company just because something's wrong with the founders or investors, especially if it's like China, Russia, etc. So this is very important. Probably my last topic, it's about stock options. For example, in my previous company, it's very uncommon for Eastern Europe when engineers retired after somebody acquired a company, but this is what happened in my company. I mean, they're still working, but they can afford to retire. But in defense, not many companies, first of all, offering stock options. Second, I'm talking about primes. Second, not much acquisition happening on the market. So actually, big primes prefer not to buy companies like smaller startups. They prefer to license and maybe then develop by themselves. Or they just, I don't know, they just buy, but for very small amounts of money. So if you, for example, have stock options in a startup, in defense, my opinion, it's very low probability you will make significant money on stock options. But there is only one chance what you can make enough money if it's your company kind of dual use. So let's say you're developing some technology for logistics, you're developing some technology for security, and additionally you have some defense use cases. In this case, this startup actually can be more profitable than just civil startup, because you can actually rely on a government money. So if you're choosing, let's say you have a choice, like you want to join, I know, Prime, and you want to join startup A and startup B, probably number one will be Prime, and your choice number two will be like dual use startup. Like don't join just pure defense, because it's not like acquisitions not happening. And IPOs, it's very rare for defense. So again, usually such companies been acquired. Summary. So for me, as ex-engineer, ex-mathematician, working on some use cases in defense is actually really cool, because you're actually dealing with real stuff. You're developing something which makes some impact. You can understand and impact different things. And it's one of few places where you actually need mathematics and physics. And I know a lot of engineers who told me, like, Vitaliy, we finally used our knowledges in math and physics, which we never expect use developing another, I don't know, marketplace, let's say. But you know, when you developing like navigation system for drone, you definitely need a lot of basic like core knowledges. Second, again, in defense, you can expect like long-term projects, high-impact projects. It's not like you jump in between projects like every 3 months, 4 months. So it's require a lot of commitment, but maybe in our like turbulence time, when a lot of people are not sure about future employment because of AI, because of different situations in the markets, defense could be very good, good area to be. And probably last, it's like hard to in and exit, but it's a specific of this field. You're actually investing a lot in terms of like your compliance, in terms of like your knowledges to enter this field. And after that, it's like you just don't want to decline your investments. You kind of probably will be motivated to work long-term in these areas. And actually, it's, I think in our situation, it makes sense. If you want, you can add me LinkedIn. If you have questions, probably I will join after party. But I think I'm done. I'm finishing. And thank you for invitation, though. Again, a lot of good memories. Thank you very much.